So we got these new plates. Fancy. And the question is, can you drop them? So if you don't want to watch this video for much longer, the answer is yes, you could drop them. Caveat. Here's where we get into the minutia. So this is called a tech plate. Did you know that when Olympic weightlifting started, you couldn't drop the weights? They were metal. I know, right? And then, well, hey, people got smarter. They had to lower the weights. They realized they could lift more if they could drop them. Came up with some rubbery things that you could, drop from heights. Doesn't break the floor. Doesn't break the equipment. But weights got lighter and lighter. So conventionally, a 10-kilo plate was the smallest large diameter plate. And I don't know for sure, but I could mansplain it for you here. But I'm going to assume that if they made them any smaller, they would just break. And at the time, I would say that, weightlifting wasn't a super common sport. Weren't a lot of people doing it. There was no trouble really waiting time before you can actually lift a bigger plate. But fast forward, CrossFit's been around for like 2 decades now. Dropping weights is just what we do. It's pretty cool. Everyone's doing weightlifting, loving it. But just because they made plates that were thinner didn't mean that they were able to withstand dropping. So here we have, right, the initial tech plate, or if you go to the Eleiko barbell, or Eleiko is a high-end Olympic weightlifting outfitter. Their 5-kilo plates are thicker than a 25-kilo plate made of like a plastic. Anyway, so the ones we have now, it's because they're too thin. They will bend and they will break if you drop them repeatedly. Now, dropping the 5-kilo plate is okay, but using it when you don't need to is not okay. So that's the thing that I think I get hung up on a lot. And a reason for it is you only need a tech plate, a 5-kilo large diameter plate, if you're lifting off the floor and it's your first plate. As soon as you could replace it with a 10-kilo plate, you need to do that. And in the world of weightlifting, you can't, I don't want to say you can't. If the barbell is a certain weight, it's always pretty much going to look the same. So if you're lifting 100 kilos, it's got as few plates as possible. It doesn't have 4 10s. It just doesn't. I'm sorry, Lewis. It just doesn't. There's one way to lift, and it's with as few plates as possible. So as soon as you could replace a 10 with a 15, because you did 10 and 5, you do that. So as soon as you have 5 and you add 5 more kilos, you take it off. And then once you're adding 5-kilo plates on top of a 10-kilo or more, you use these guys, okay? Yeah. I don't make the rules. Well, actually, I do make the rules. But if we continue to use the 5-kilo plates incorrectly, they're going to break sooner than they need to. And unfortunately, they're not cheap. Of course, you guys are worth every penny. But it would be cooler if we could invest in newer things, not replace the things we already have if we don't need to. So that's the long-winded answer of why or how to use the plates. If you're doing back squats, bench press, you shouldn't even look at those plates. They're specially made just to bring the bar off the ground. You want a 5-kilo plate. Trust me when I say it doesn't look any more impressive to use a big diameter 5 or a little diameter 5. You want to make things look impressive, you grab the fattest weights possible. That's impressive. Anyways, rant over. There you go. Drop the plates, but plate correctly.